All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Home Alone 1990. Giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty decent, but it's a PG kids movie, lamestream to the maximum. This is going to be another Adrian Mansion. Giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It's pretty good for a lamestream movie, I have to admit. As much as I despise the lamestream, I intentionally avoided this one being a PG kids movie. When Kevin's family left for vacation, they forgot one minor detail. Kevin, but don't worry, he cooks, he cleans, he kicks some butt. A family comedy without the family. Home Alone. All right. That's the movie poster. It's about some kindergarten kid who's who gets deserted by his parents on Christmas holiday. And then Joe Pesci and this other dude are peeping through the window looking to steal stuff from people in Chicago who left for the holidays. Kevin's parents went to France. Home Alone is a 1990 U.S. comedy film directed by Chris Columbus. And written and produced by John Hughes, the first film in the Home Alone franchise. The film stars Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister, a young boy who defends his suburban Chicago home from a home invasion by a pair of robbers after his family accidentally leaves him behind on their Christmas vacation to Paris. The cast also features Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern. He's the other guy who does the he was in City Slickers. Okay, and he's also in the sequel. John Hurd, who's in Cat People, Beaches, I don't know. He was in a bunch of films. Catherine Ann O'Hara, she was in Beetlejuice. Oh, I better add her name. Hughes conceived Home Alone while on vacation with Warner Brothers, being originally intended to finance and distribute the film. However, Warner Brothers shut down the production after it exceeded its assigned budget. So we got Catherine Ann O'Hara. It's a pretty decent Christmas movie, I guess. Has some nice redemption at the end. I thought it was okay for a kid's movie. I don't know. I wasn't too crazy about it, but the ending was pretty decent. I have to admit, it was decent. I was kind of skeptical of this one, but it was a good recommendation by Adrian. I'm not complaining. 20th Century Fox assumed responsibilities following secret meetings with Hughes. Columbus and Culkin were hired soon afterwards. Filming took place between February and May 1990 on location across Illinois. All right. Production companies: 20th Century Fox and Hughes Entertainment, distributed by 20th Century Fox. Release dates: November 10th, 1990 in Chicago. November 16th, 1990 in the rest of the United States. Running time, 103 minutes, too long. Country, United States. Language, English. Budget, $18 million. Box office, $476.7 million. Can you say lamestream, everybody? All right. Home Alone premiered in Chicago. My son actually watched this movie in 5th grade, believe it or not, and he thought it was hilarious. Home Alone premiered in Chicago on November 10th, 1990, and it was theatrically released in the United States on November 16th. While the film's reception was initially mixed, in later years, reception has been generally positive, with praise for its cast, humor, and music. Home Alone grossed $476.7 million worldwide, becoming the second highest grossing film of 1990. Cha-ching! It made Culkin a child star, and it was the highest grossing live action comedy for 2 decades. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Home Alone has since been considered one of the best Christmas films. In 2023, Home Alone was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. A sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, was released in 1992, which I have on my list at number 3 now. The McAllister family is preparing to spend Christmas in Paris, gathering at Kate and Peter's home in Chicago suburb on the night before their departure. Kate and Peter's youngest son, Kevin, is ridiculed by his siblings and cousins due to his immaturity. Kevin inadvertently ruins the family dinner after a scuffle with his oldest brother, Buzz, resulting in Kate sending him up to the attic. Kevin berates his mother for allowing the rest of the family to pick on him and wishes that his family would disappear. During the night, heavy winds create a power outage, disabling the alarm clocks and causing the family to oversleep. In the confusion and rush to get to the airport, Kevin is accidentally left behind. Kevin wakes to find the house empty and the family cars still in the garage, unaware that they had rented vans to take them to the airport. Thinking that his wish came true, he is overjoyed with his newfound freedom. Later, Kevin becomes frightened by his next-door neighbor, Old Man Marley, rumored to be a serial killer who murdered his own family with a snow shovel. The McAllister family is soon stalked by the Wet Bandits, Harry and Marv, a pair of burglars who had been breaking into other vacant houses in the neighborhood. Kevin tricks them into thinking that his family is still home, forcing them to postpone their plans to rob the McAllister house. And nobody's in the chat room. I can continue. Kate realizes mid-flight that Kevin was left behind. Upon arrival in Paris, the family discovers that all flights for the next 2 days are booked and that the phone lines are still down back home in Chicago. Peter and the rest of the family stay at his brother Rob's apartment in Paris, while Kate stays in the airport. She cannot obtain a flight to Chicago, and she meets with Gus Polinski after arriving in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He's the lead member of a traveling polka band, John Candy. I never liked John Candy. He's way too lamestream. Take John Candy out of the movie. And others. He's the lead member of a traveling polka band and offers to let her travel with them from Chicago in a moving to Chicago. And offers to let her travel with them to Chicago in a moving van on the way to Milwaukee. There's a little bit of typos on Wikipedia. Sorry about that. On Christmas Eve, Harry and Marv finally realize that only Kevin is in the McAllister home, and Kevin overhears them discussing plans to break into the house for that night. Kevin starts to miss his family, and Kevin asks the local Santa Claus impersonator if he could bring them back for Christmas. He goes to church and watches a choir perform. This is the highlight of the movie right here. Eventually re-encountering Marley, who disproves the rumors about him. Marley points out his granddaughter in the choir and mentions he can only see her there since she is the daughter of his estranged son. Kevin suggests Marley should reconcile with his son. Good idea. Good idea. Kevin returns home and he rigs the house with handmade booby traps. Here's where all the Three Stooges slapstick comes in. Harry and Marv break in, spring the traps, and suffer various injuries. Kevin calls the police and he lures the duo into a vacant neighboring house that they had previously broken into. Harry and Marv ambush Kevin, but Marley intervenes and he knocks them out with his shovel. The police arrive and they arrest Harry and Marv, having identified all the houses they broke into due to their habit of flooding them. On Christmas Day, Kevin is initially disappointed to find that his family is still gone. However, Kate arrives home and they reconcile. The rest of the family shortly arrived after waiting in Paris for a direct flight to Chicago. Kevin keeps silent about his encounter with Harry and Marv, although Peter finds Harry's knocked out gold tooth. Writer and producer John Hughes conceived Home Alone while preparing to go on vacation. He said, "I was going away on vacation and making a list of everything I didn't want to forget. I thought, well, I'd better not forget my kids. Then I thought, what if I left my 10-year-old son home? What would he do?" Hughes wrote 8 pages of notes that developed into the screenplay, imagining that children are naturally most scared of robbers. Hughes also worked that aspect into the plot of the film. Okay, so we have 10-year-old son, not the kindergartner. I misspoke. Home Alone was initially set to be financed and distributed by Warner Brothers. Hughes promised that he could make the movie for less than $10 million, considerably less than most feature film production budgets of that era. Concerned that the film might exceed that amount, Hughes met secretly with 20th Century Fox before production to see if they would fund the project if Warner proved inflexible. According to executive producer Scott Rosenfeld, a copy of the script was clandestinely delivered to Fox, bypassing the legal restrictions that would have otherwise prevented Fox from seeing it until the project was in turnaround. Early in production, the budget grew to $14.7 million. Warner demanded that it be cut by $1.2 million. The producers responded with a memo arguing that the budget could not be cut any further. Unconvinced, Warner shut down production the next day, but it quickly resumed when Fox took up Hughes on his offer. The final budget grew to $18 million. Hughes had asked Patrick Reed Johnson to direct, but he was committed to directing Spaced Invaders, 1990. He turned to Chris Columbus, who had left National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989, before shooting started because of a personality clash with starring director Chevy Chase, who Columbus said treated him like dirt. Hughes gave him the scripts for both Home Alone and Reach the Rock, 1998. Columbus chose to direct Home Alone as he found it funnier and liked the He liked the Christmas theme. Columbus did an uncredited rewrite of the script. Among his contributions was the character of Old Man Marley, which he created to give the story a more serious layer as well as a more emotional, happier ending. I like the ending to this movie. I really do. I think the ending did it for me. It put me in the likable category. Macaulay Culkin, pictured in 1991, was the child star of the film. Hughes suggested to Columbus that they cast Macaulay Culkin as Kevin because of his experience while shooting Uncle Buck in 1989. Columbus met with 200 other actors for the part, as he felt it was his directorial responsibility. John Mulaney was asked to audition for the role of Kevin after being scouted in a children's sketch comedy group, but his parents refused the opportunity. Columbus met with Culkin and agreed he was the right choice. After Robert De Niro and John Lovitz turned down the role of Harry, Joe Pesci accepted it. The role of Uncle Frank was written for Kelsey Grammer, but it was given to Jerry Bamman when Grammer was unavailable. David Stern was cast as Marv, but before shooting started, he was told that the production schedule had been extended from 6 weeks to 8. He dropped out after he would not be paid more than the extended schedule. Daniel Roebuck was hired to replace him, but after 2 days of rehearsal, Columbus felt he was lacking chemistry with Pesci and brought back Stern. Roebuck later said that although he was upset to be fired from the production, he now believed the experience was a little blip of unimportance. Chris Farley auditioned for the role of Santa Claus impersonator, but he failed to impress Columbus. That would have been cool with Chris Farley in there instead of John Candy. John Candy was available for 1 day to film his scenes, which took 23 hours to shoot. He was paid only $414 since he did the film as a favor to Hughes. In return, he was the only actor Hughes allowed to go off script. According to Columbus, all his dialogue was improvised, and it was pretty bad. The Home Alone house in Winnetka, Illinois is pretty decent looking. Principal photography took place from February 14th, 1990 to May 8th, 1990, over a course of 83 days on an $18.3 million budget. The house exterior scenes were filmed on location at a 3-story single-family house located at 671 Lincoln Avenue in the North Shore village of Winnetka, Illinois, where many of Hughes' previous films had also been shot, but at different houses. The only interiors of the house used for filming that made it to the finished film were the main staircase, basement, attic, and most of the first floor landing, while all the other interiors of the house, including the aforementioned rooms, were duplicated on soundstage to allow more room for equipment and crew. These sets were built in the then disguised gym. These sets were built in the then disused gym, not disguised, disused. These sets were built in the then disused gym of New Trier High School's West Campus, previously used by Hughes for Uncle Buck and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where the production company had already set up its offices. 671 Lincoln Avenue later became a tourist attraction. The treehouse in the backyard was built specifically for the film, and it was dismantled after the filming ended. Kevin runs away from his third encounter with Marley in Hubbard Woods Park in Winnetka. In addition, the scene where Kevin waits in his neighbor's flooded basement was shot at the empty swimming pool of the aforementioned campus of New Trier High School, where the American Airlines DC-10 first-class cabin interiors done on the basketball courts. The church exteriors were shot at Trinity Unity United Methodist Church in Wilmette, Illinois, while the interiors were shot at Grace Episcopal Church in Oak Park, Illinois. Filming also took place over 16 days at O'Hare International Airport, which served for both itself and only airport in Paris. John Candy filmed his cameo appearance for the film over the course of one day at Meigs Field. For the film within the film, Angels with Filthy Souls, which I guess is play on words for the great film noir Angels with Dirty Faces, the title of which parodies the 1938 film Angels with Dirty Faces. Shooting took only one day on the final test day prior to the official start of principal photography to create the illusion that the film was authentic 1940s gangster film. The scene was filmed on black and white negative film, and Johnny's office featured props from that era. Like much of the film, most of the sequence was shot with low, wide angles that, according to journalist Darren King, capture the action as if a child were perceiving it. Originally, Ralph Foody was to play Snakes and Michael Guido was to play Johnny, but since Foody had recently undergone knee replacement surgery, he was unable to do the death scene where Snakes drops to his knees, leading to the roles being switched. Cinematographer Giulio Macat recalled that Pesci was more difficult to work with than Culkin. The older actor believes some of the dialogue was not of a quality commensurate with his acting ability. He also resented the early unit calls since they prevented him from starting his day with 9 holes of golf as he preferred to do. After he took the assistant director by the collar one day to complain about this, daily call times were moved back from 7 to 9 a.m. to accommodate his rounds. On the other end of the schedule, the crew had limited time to fill the many nighttime scenes since Culkin could not work any later than 10 p.m. due to his age. Pesci said in a 2002 interview with People on working with Culkin, "I intentionally limited my interactions with him to preserve the dynamic and made sure not to come across on the screen that we were in any way friendly in order to maintain the integrity of the adversarial relationship." On the set, Pesci and Stern both had difficulties refraining from cursing, which became annoying to Pesci since Culkin was on the set as well. In fact, the only curse words that made it in the film were poop, accidentally said by Daniel Stern when his shoe fell through the pet door, and hell, which was said by both Pesci and Stern after their characters encounter one another after going through Kevin's booby traps, and by Johnny to the characters of Snakes and Angels with Filthy Souls. Pesci's use of cartoon cursing or menacing gibberish garnered comparisons to Looney Tunes character Yosemite Sam. The film's stunts also created tension for the crew during shooting. Columbus said every time the stunt guys did one of those stunts, it wasn't funny. We'd watch it, and I would just pray that the guys were alive. Stunts were originally prepared with safety harnesses, but because of their visibility on camera, the film's final stunts were performed without them. Troy Brown and Leon Delaney were stuntmen for Pesci and Stern, respectively. An injury had occurred between Pesci and Culkin during one of the rehearsals of the scene in which Pesci tries to bite off Kevin's finger. Culkin still has the scar. The tarantula that works on Stern's face was real. Senta Moses, who played Tracy, recalled in 2020 that one of the most difficult scenes to shoot was the family's run through O'Hare International Airport to catch their flight. While it does not last long, it required several days to film. There were thousands of extras, all expertly choreographed, so none of us would be in danger running at full speed through the American Airlines terminal. She told the Hollywood Reporter, and we ran at full speed. Sometimes we'd bump into each other like a multi-car pileup on the expressway and just crack up laughing. There were so many setups and narrowly missed moments of disaster, but to my knowledge, no one got hurt. Columbus initially hoped to have Bruce Broughton score the film, and early posters listed him as the composer. However, Broughton was busy with The Rescuers Down Under 1990, and he had to cancel at the last minute. Columbus was later able to get in touch with Steven Spielberg, who helped him contact John Williams to produce the final score. Traditional Christmas songs such as "O Holy Night" and "Carol of the Bells" are featured prominently in the film, as well as the film's theme song, "Somewhere in My Memory." The soundtrack was released by Sony Classical Records on cassette on December 4th, 1990, and on CD on May 27, 2015. Home Alone premiered in Chicago on November 10th, 1990. It was given a wide release on November 16th, 1990. Home Alone was first released by Fox Video on VHS and Laserdisc in the United States on August 22nd, 1991. Their first video to go direct to sell, though, rather than to the video rental market first. It sold 11 million copies, generating Fox revenue of $150 million, making it, along with E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the highest selling video of all time at that point. Due to the sales, the film did not perform as well in the rental market. It was later released on DVD on October 5th, 1999 as a basic package. The film was released on Blu-ray on December 2nd, 2008, titled Family Fun Edition, and was released alongside Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, in a collection pack on October 5th, 2010. The film was reissued again on DVD and Blu-ray on October 6th, 2015, alongside all four of its sequels, in a box set titled Home Alone 25th Anniversary Ultimate Collector's Christmas Edition on September 15, 2020. Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment and 20th Century Studios Home Entertainment released Home Alone on Ultra HD Blu-ray in time for its 30th anniversary in the United States. Home Alone grossed $285.8 million in the United States and Canada, and $190.9 million in other countries, for a worldwide total of a whopping $476.7 million against a production budget of $18 million. In its opening weekend, Home Alone grossed $17 million from 1,202 theaters, averaging $14,211 per site at just 6% of the final total, and added screens over the next 6 weeks, with a peak screen count of 2,174 during its 8th weekend at the start of January 1991. Home Alone was the number one film at the box office for 12 consecutive weeks, from its release weekend of November 16th to 18th, 1990, through the weekend of February 1st through 3rd, 1991. It was removed from the top spot when Sleeping with the Enemy opened with $13 million. It remained in the top 10 until the weekend of April 26, well past Easter weekend. It made 2 more appearances in the top 10 the weekend of May 31st to June 2nd and the weekend of June 14th to 16th before finally falling out of the top 10. After over 9 months into its run, the film had earned 16 times its debut weekend and ended up making a final gross of $285 million, $761,243, the top grossing film of its year in North America. The film is listed in the Guinness World Records as the highest grossing live action comedy ever and held the record until it was overtaken by The Hangover Part 2 in 2011, which is not on my list, thank God. By the time the film had run its course in theaters, Home Alone was the 3rd highest grossing film of all time worldwide, as well as in the United States and Canada, behind only Star Wars, $322 million at the time, and E.T. the Extraterrestrial, $399 million at the time, according to the Home Video Box. Box Office Mojo estimates that the film sold over 67.7 million tickets in the United States. It was also the highest grossing Christmas film until it was surpassed by Dr. Seuss' The Grinch in 2018. The film made Culkin a child star. Thank God I don't have Dr. Seuss's The Grinch on my list. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, Home Alone holds an approval rating of 66%. I'm giving it a higher 80% based on 116 reviews with an average rating of 5.9 out of 10. The website's critical consensus reads, Home Alone's uneven but frequently funny premise, stretched unreasonably thin, is buoyed by Macaulay Culkin's cute performance and strong supporting stars. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 63 out of 100 based on 9 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the average grade of A on an A+ to F scale with no CinemaScore ratings are inflated somewhat compared to Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, but I think my rating is somewhere in the middle. Variety magazine praised the film for its cast. Gene Cooper of the Washington Post praised the film for its comedic approach. Hal Hinson, also the Washington Post, praised Columbus's direction and Culkin's performance, although Karen James of the New York Times complained that the film's first half is flat and unsurprising, as its cute little premise suggests. She praised the second half for its slapstick humor. She often praised the dialogue between Kevin and Marley, as well as the film's final scenes. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 2.5 out of a 4-star rating. He compared the elaborate booby traps in the film to Rube Goldberg machines, writing they're the kinds of traps that any 8-year-old could devise if he had a budget of tens of thousands of dollars and the assistance of a crew of movie special effects people, and criticized the plot as so implausible that it makes it hard for him to really care about the plight of the kid Kevin. However, he praised Culkin's performance. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly magazine gave the film a D grade, criticizing the film for its sadistic festival of adult bashing. Gleiberman said that John Hughes is pulling our strings as though he never learned to do anything else. Peter Bradshaw of the Guardian gave the film 3 out of 5 and praised Culkin's vivid screen presence, almost incandescent with confidence. However, he criticized his acting, calling it a bit broad and mannered. Ali Barclay of the BBC wrote, Culkin walks a fine line between annoyance and endearment throughout the film. He also called Home Alone a film which manages to capture some of the best qualities of Christmas. Naomi Barnwell of Rubia said that Home Alone has all the ingredients that make for a great kids film. Notice the operative word here, kids film. Ugh. Why am I getting kids film recommendations from Australian people? Adrian Turner of Radio Times commented, Home Alone is a celebration of enterprise that captured the heart and wickedness of every child on the planet. According to TV Guide, Home Alone slapstick falls flat and only the pain remains. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. The slapstick is kind of cartoonish and goofy. I didn't like the slapstick in this one. Marielle Sabag of Vocal wrote, everything about Home Alone is beautiful and has a realistic quality. Peter Rayner of the Los Angeles Times criticized the fact that there is a reason why this film plays better as a trailer than as a full-length film. Home Alone gradually became a Christmas classic. It was praised for quotable phrases, morals, traps, and main character. Hannah Rose Yee of Stylist called the ending very sweet and praised the score from John Williams, calling it fantastic. I thought the score was kind of out of place during this slapstick scenes. It made it too cartoonish for me. Christopher Houdin of The Independent also praised the film, calling the film within the film Angels with Filthy Souls, a fond footnote in cinema history. Matt Talbot from Simco.com said that the Wet Bandits were fantastic and never got old on repeat viewings. Michael Walsh of Nerdist noted the church scene as one of the best, most touching scenes in the film. I tend to agree with that. Home Alone remains a highly popular Christmas movie in Poland, where it played on Polsat every Christmas Eve. In 2010, Polsat did not play Home Alone, which caused over 90,000 people to protest on Facebook. In 2016, over 4.44 million Poles tuned in to Polsat to watch Home Alone. Since the 2010s, its TV trailers even include a tagline that acknowledges his popularity. Christmas without him is absolutely impossible. The movie is also highly popular in Romania, being played on Pro TV since 1995, except 2021, when the movie was played by Antenna One. In 2014, over 2.7 million Romanians watched the movie on Pro TV. Julio Macat, the film's cinematographer, considered Home Alone his favorite film out of all the projects he has shot. It was the favorite film of former U.S. President Gerald Ford. At the 12th Youth and Film Awards, Macaulay Culkin won Best Actor starring in a motion picture. The film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Original Score, which was written by John Williams, and the other for Best Original Song from Somewhere in My Memory, music by Williams, and lyrics by Leslie Bricusse, but lost to Dances with Wolves and Dick Tracy, respectively. I have seen Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy's on the big screen when it came out. I was 18 years old. All right. Academy Awards. Best Original Score, John Williams nominated. Best Original Song, Somewhere in My Memory. Music by John Williams, lyrics by Leslie Bricusse, nominated. American Comedy Awards, Funniest Actor in a Motion Picture, Leading Role, Macaulay Culkin, he won. RTOS Awards, Outstanding Achievement in Feature Film Casting Comedy, Jane Jenkins and Jane Hershenson, they won. BMA Film and TV Awards, Film Music Awards, John Williams, he won. British Comedy Awards, Best Comedy Film, it won. Film Critics Association Award, Most Promising Actor, Macaulay Culkin, he won. Golden Globe Awards, Best Musical Picture, Musical or Comedy, nominated. Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, Macaulay Culkin, nominated. Golden Screen Awards, it won. Grammy Awards, Best Song written specifically for motion picture or for television, Somewhere in My Memory, music by John Williams, lyrics by Leslie Bricusse, that was nominated. Kids' Choice Awards, Favorite Movie, it won. Online Film and Television Association Awards, Hall of Fame Motion Picture, it won. Young Artist Awards, Most Entertaining Family Youth Motion Picture, Comedy Action, it won. Best Young Actor Starring in a Motion Picture, Macaulay Culkin, it won. Best Young Actress Supporting Role in a Motion Picture, Angela Bethany Goethals, sorry. She was nominated. Okay. Accusations of Plagiarism, the 1989 French horror thriller film 3615 Code Pere Noel, which is about a young boy who's home alone with his elderly grandfather and has to fend off a home invader dressed up as Santa Claus, has been noted for its plot similarities to Home Alone. 3615 Code Pere Noel director Renee Mansour threatened the producers of Home Alone with legal action on grounds of plagiarism, alleging that Home Alone was a remake of his film. 3615 Code Pere Noel was not released in the United States during its original theatrical run in January 1990 and did not become widely available there until 2018. The music video for Snoop Dogg's 1994 song Gin and Juice opens with a gag where, after a teenage Snoop's parents have left him to watch the house in their absence, he places his hands to his face and yells in the manner of Kevin McAllister in the first film, while the title comes on screen reading Homeboy Alone. In December 2015, Culkin reprised his role as an adult Kevin McAllister in the inaugural episode of the Dak Dishel web series Drivers, in which a visibly disturbed McAllister recounts his experiences from the events of the first film and subsequently uses his signature tactics against a gunman. In response, Daniel Stern posted a short video reprising his role as Marv, released in conjunction with Stern's Reddit AMA, pleading for support from Harry against McAllister's traps. The 2016 Christmas set horror film Better Watch Out includes a scene where a character is obsessed with the Home Alone films, demonstrates how in real life it would be deadly for someone to be hit in the face with a paint can swung from a distance. The season 13 episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie's Home Alone, is intended to be a direct parody of the first Home Alone film. In the episode, Charlie Kelly is accidentally forgotten while the rest of the gang attends Super Bowl. Is that Super Bowl? 2017 season? I can't read the Roman letters. Charlie mistakenly believes he must protect the bar by setting up traps, only for himself to accidentally activate said traps, nearly preventing from performing his Super Bowl rituals. On December 15, 2018, Culkin made a guest appearance as himself in the episode of The Angry Video Game Nerd to review multiple video game adaptations of the first two Home Alone films, as well as a gameplay session of The Page Master with James Rolfe and Mike Matei in the days following that episode's release. On December 19, 2018, Culkin again reprised his role. Oh, John Lovell is in the chat room. Why do Catholics worship Mary? Because she's the mother of God and she's the mediatrix of all graces. Are you playing with yourself? No, I'm not. Obey Jesus. Okay. Well, I'm going to confession tomorrow or today, actually. I'm going to confession today to confess that I watched a blasphemous Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I paid $3.99 to YouTube to watch Home Alone on the Sabbath day. That's going to be my penance for today. 3 Our Fathers, I bet you. On December 19th, 2018, Culkin again reprised his role as McAllister in a 60-second advertisement for Google Assistant titled Home Alone Again, which parodies the original film. The commercial contains shot-for-shot remakes of several scenes from the film in which McAllister uses several of the product's functions. The concluding scene includes a command sequence intended to make the house look active, parodying the original Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree scene. The 2022 action comedy film Violent Night references Home Alone several times, and character Trudy Lightson attempts to emulate Kevin McAllister's fighting tactics against the burglars who take her hostage. Films such as Home Alone and Die Hard 1988 are very popular at Christmas time in Poland because they were some of the first Western movies to be released in Poland since the end of communist rule. However, the Polish premiere of Home Alone took place not during the Christmas season, but on May 22nd, 1992, 3 years later on Christmas Day, 1995, at 8:10 CET on TPV1, the Polish television premiere of the film took place. Then 3 times on December 26, 1997, and December 24th and 25th, 1999. The film was broadcast on television TVN on December 29, 2000. 8.9 million Poles were watching Home Alone on Christmas Eve. By 2017, about 4 million people, 11.6% of Poland's population, were watching it on Christmas Eve. And in 2018, again on the same day, the film recorded the highest viewership with 4.51 million viewers. Home Alone was novelized by Todd Strasser and published by Scholastic in 1990 to coincide with the film. On October 6, 2015, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the movie, an illustrated book by Kim Smith and Quirk Books was released. The film was followed by the commercially successful sequel in 1992, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, which is number 3 on my list, which brought back most of the first film's cast. Culkin was paid $4.5 million to appear in the sequel, compared to $110,000 for the original. The film within the film, Angels with Filthy Souls, had a sequel in Home Alone 2, Angels with Even Filthier Souls. Both Angels metal films featured character actor Ralph Foody as a stereotypical 1930s mobster, John. Okay. So it went from 1940s to 1930s. I'm a little confused. A third film, Home Alone 3, was released in 1997. It has entirely different actors and characters, as well as a different storyline, with Hughes writing the screenplay. A fourth made-for-TV film followed in 2002, Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. The movie features some of the same characters who were in the first two films, but with a new cast and a storyline. The fifth film, The Holiday Heist, premiered during ABC Family's countdown to 25 Days of Christmas programming event on November 25th, 2012. Similarly to the third film, it does not focus on the McAllister family. Chris Columbus later revealed that there had been discussions on a sequel starring Kevin's son. This was talked about maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. We're just having fun with it. And we said, what if Kevin is an adult and he was a kid? But it was still Pesci and Stern. Pesci and Stern are still obsessed with this kid. They're going to get this kid. Another idea that was once discussed involved an adult Kevin attempting revenge on Harry and Marv, who had reformed in the years since they met. The studio declined to make the film, despite Columbus and Culkin's interest in the idea. A sixth film was released digitally on Disney Plus on November 12th, 2021, titled Home Sweet Home Alone. Devin Ratray, who played Buzz McAllister in the first two films, reprised his role in the film. So I'm going to look for 5 and 6 on the 3 streaming services that I use, namely YouTube, Tubi, and Amazon Prime. All right, Home Alone, rated PG, an hour 43 minutes, too long. I talked about the movie poster. This is the granddaddy of lamestream movies. No question about it. It gets a whopping 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 667,000. Its popularity is 153, up 232. So it's number 153 in the list of lamestream movies. An 8-year-old troublemaker mistakenly left home alone must defend his home against a pair of burglars on Christmas Eve. More like this: Home Alone 2, Lost in New York; Home Alone 3, Elf; Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. I think I have 3 of the 4 on my list. I'll try to add 2 more sequels. All right. Joe Pesci deliberately avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Culkin to think that he was mean. The night Harry and Marv break into the house, Kevin sits down and blesses his macaroni and cheese dinner just before the stroke of 9. This draws obvious attention to his plate. Later, just before Harry is discovered with feathers, you can see a completely different plate with 3 sections of food on it. Quotes, "Checkout woman, are you here all by yourself?" Kevin McAllister, "Ma'am, I'm 8 years old. You think I would be here alone? I don't think so." Checkout woman, "Where's your mom?" Kevin McAllister, "My mom's in the car." Checkout woman, "Where's your father?" Kevin McAllister, "He's at work." Checkout woman, "What about your brothers and sisters?" Kevin McAllister, "I'm an only child." Checkout woman, "Where do you live?" Kevin McAllister, I can't tell you that." Checkout woman, "Why not?" Kevin McAllister, "Because you're a stranger." Alternate versions. When aired on YTV, the older airings had the word ass being redubbed with butt, but more recent airings just kept the original unedited word. Edited in 5-second movies, Home Alone, 2008. Soundtrack, Somewhere in My Memory, music by John Williams, lyrics by Leslie Brookhus. All right. Here's a somewhat less flattering review of Home Alone. This person gives it a 7 out of 10. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This is a review on IMDb. Somebody named Curiosity Killed Sean, dated December 13th, 2006. The title of the review is "Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal." In the 80s, John Hughes churned out a handful of movies and scored many, many hits, quite rightly, as most of them were seriously funny. I'm definitely not referring to Curly Sue, so relax. In one particular scene with Uncle Buck, Macaulay Culkin interrogates a babysitter through the letterbox to make sure she's not a baddie. This inspired Hughes to write a whole new movie. Who would have known that this and its sequel would go on to become 2 of the biggest hits of all time? Both Hughes and Chris Columbus seem to prefer setting their movies during the holiday season. Gremlins, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Christmas Vacation, and managed to pull them off without too much sentiment or sickening amounts of gooey love. There are 2 reasons why Home Alone was such a big success. The first is that it's about a kid who outsmarts grown-ups, something that happens every day, only there's a worldwide conspiracy of silence. The movie yells it out loud and clear. The second is John Williams' magical score, which elevates the movie way above slapstick family fare to something more serious and regarded. It was nominated for an Academy Award along with The Christmas Carol, Somewhere in My Memory, but lost to John Barry's Dances with Wolves. Darn! In a mad rush to the airport one morning, the McAllister family forgot one little thing: Kevin Culkin. He is an 8-year-old kid who wants nothing better than a peaceful Christmas and some time to himself. It's hard for him to get this when living in a house with 7 other people, the exact same house from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Don't you know? With the rest of the McAllisters in Paris. Kevin runs wild, doing whatever he wants, eating whatever he wants, and watching whatever TV show he wants. But there's one major problem. The wet bandits, Harry Joe Pesci and Marv Daniel Stern, are on the prowl and have knocked off every other house in Kevin's street. His is next. And seeing that he's man of the house now, he has to defend it using whatever tools are at his disposal. Rusty nails, blow torches, micro machines. He sets up a labyrinth of booby traps so that the wets can't break in. Their idiot-proof determination proves to be their downfall as they are tortured and torn up upon entering Kevin's domain. Although this is not the only point of the film, there is an important message that family is what really matters to a child or to anyone, and having them home for the holidays is better than wandering a huge household by yourself. There are some movies that work best at Christmas, and this is one of them. I'm not saying that in a couple of decades it will be the new It's a Wonderful Life, but it will be remembered fondly at the very least. Don't be a Scrooge. It's Christmas time. Go rush to check out Home Alone. Yeah, I gave It's a Wonderful Life about the same rating, I think. Anyways, is anybody in the chat room? Oh, John Lovell. You are lock yourself in a closet with a man that wears a dress? Is the PO drunk now? We don't pray to Mary. We just give her homage or ask her to run off and take our prayers to Jesus when he's too busy to hear them. Well, that's what the heck's the ding-dang difference? The difference is that she's the queen of heaven and earth and the mother of God. I thought I already answered that question. You are washed in sin. Yeah, I have original sin, but I go to confession twice a week, so I'm doing pretty good. Unless you think that Novus Ordo priests are merely mailmen, as I do, and I should go to the Sedevacantists church in Martinez. That probably went over your head, but thanks for the theological idiocy. If you deny that Mary is the mother of God, then you deny the incarnation of Christ, which also happens to be Catholic dogma. But I suppose you wouldn't know that. But it's nice talking to you. Have a good day. Bye.